Okay, guys, today we have an assignment that's just for the remote students. Students who are in class will be doing a different assignment if you're in person. Now, if you're absent, you could go ahead and do the remote assignment. It's basically the same thing we're going to be doing, but ever so slightly different. So I tell you here, if you are an in-person student, please submit a blank document or type done in the text box and submit the assignment so that it leaves your to-do list. If you're working remotely, open the document below using the link and complete only the questions. I've also written them out in case the document will not open for you. You will answer the questions on the second page. You may need to use your cell notes to assist you, and the video will go through some of the answers as well. So this is the video portion of it. You can either click on this link here, or if you don't want to mess with the link, you can just read the paragraphs here, and then the questions are right below it. There's 13 of them. So in class, the students are going to get a paper, and it is going to look just like this. And if you click on the link, this is what it brings up. Here is the reading portion of it. Now they are going to be coloring this little single-celled organism here, this prokaryote. So their paper looks like this. I know it's difficult to color things whenever you're online because you'd have to use something like paint, and it's just not going to work out well in lines. So I just want you to go through and answer the questions. You're answering questions 1 through 13. Question 14 deals with drawing stuff, so you don't have to worry about doing that. So if you look at the first question here, it says, what bacteria causes strep throat? And I always like to look at the questions first so I know what I'm reading for. Now, I believe that these answers should go somewhat in order. So a prokaryote is a unicellular organism that lacks a membrane-bound nucleus. Bacteria are prokaryotes that fall into two major categories, the kingdom Eubacteria and the kingdom Archaebacteria. Eubacteria are common types that occur all around us. Usually they are on the surfaces and in soil. You can only find Archaebacteria in extreme environments like hot sulfur springs. Archaebacteria are thought to be some of the oldest life forms on Earth. Most bacteria don't make their own food. That means they must rely on other organisms to provide them with food. These bacteria break down or decompose other living things to obtain energy. When most people hear the word bacteria, they think something that is bad for you. In fact, very few bacteria cause illnesses. Some bacteria actually help you. Bacteria are used to make food such as cheese and yogurt. They can also help us break down harmful substances in the environment. Scientists created a type of bacteria that could gobble up oil from oil spills. Some bacteria live inside the guts of animals and help them to digest food. And a little side note, they actually can use bacteria to combat different viruses. And they do this stuff overseas. We don't really do it in the United States as much because it's not common practice for us, but they have found that it can treat several illnesses linked to diseases by getting rid of that disease from your body. Unfortunately, there are many types of bacteria that make us ill. Salmonella bacteria can cause food poisoning, and certain types of bacteria are responsible for other infections. You might have had some experience with Streptococcus, the bacteria that causes strep throat. So right here, Streptococcus, that is my answer for the first question here. So sorry guys, they don't actually go in order. I was wrong there. What are the oldest life forms on Earth? Oh, I remember reading about that. And if you look at the bolded terms, that'll help you out as well. So we have two types of bacteria, Eubacteria or Archaebacteria. And right here it says Archaebacteria are thought to be some of the oldest life forms on Earth. So my answer to number 2 then would be Archaebacteria. What bacteria is associated with food poisoning? Well, Salmonella, that's a big one. When it comes to food poisoning, they always tell you don't lick the beaters if you're making a cake. I always lick the beaters when I'm making a cake. But you shouldn't do that because you can get food poisoning from it, although that's not the only way to get food poisoning. What part of the bacteria helps it stick to surfaces? So if we come on down, this gives you a little overview of the different parts of the bacteria. And it tells you about them. So let's see, the cell wall is going to protect it and give it shape. The cell membrane is regulating what comes in and out. The pilus is going to help the cell stick to surfaces. So the pilus. Would be the answer to number 4. Name 2 foods that help, or that are made with the help of bacteria. Cheese and yogurt was what it said in our reading. What does decompose mean? If you don't know decompose in this language up here, think about decomposing. Trash is supposed to decompose. Some people have decomposition piles outside where they throw old fruits and vegetables and they decompose over time. So it means that it's going to break it down. What part of the bacteria can help it move? We went over this one in our notes. Some bacteria move within their environment by using structures called flagella, which resemble tails. So the flagella would help it to move. Where do archaebacteria live? They live in very extreme environments like sulfur springs. To what kingdom do common bacteria belong to? Common bacteria, that's going to be up here, the eubacteria. And it says right here, eubacteria are common types. What structure controls the cell's activities? Well, we know in our cells we have a nucleus, but these guys don't have a nucleus. DNA contains the instructions for the cell and controls the cell's activities. What is the function of a ribosome and the function of cell membrane? You would find both of those answers. Here's cell membrane and here's ribosome, so you can answer those ones on your own. What is the watery environment that the DNA and ribosomes float within? Watery environment. Well, right here, watery interior is going to be a cytoplasm. And that's the last question that you guys will have to worry about answering. All right? So that is it for today. And we will meet back here tomorrow.